Hey, welcome back. In this video, we'll be repotting this Japanese black pine pre-bonsai into a slab without using keto but only sphagnum moss. Stay tuned to check it out. This tree has some interesting movement in the trunk and a very nice base. We will be removing this sacrifice branch and taking advantage of the position of the nebari to place it into this rounded slab that I made out of cement. The slab has some interesting patterns that I want to show, but the first action will be here to remove the sacrifice branch because it's not needed anymore. I'm thoroughly satisfied with the taper that the tree has, and if I kept it, it would accentuate too much the taper. So now that this sacrifice branch is gone, we will deal with the stump there left on the trunk. I start by using an X-Acto knife to draw a ring around, so when I remove the bark, I don't peel off areas that I don't want to. In this case, it's not such an issue because there are no. We could go with the dead wood with the shari all the way down to the roots. Now I am carving this area with my Dremel using a number of different bits. Perhaps in the future I will show what I use and how I use them. This is the plan for the planting. You can see the trunk moving upwards and then it's moving a little bit towards the back. The two branches below will be wired to create pads, and the branch on the top will be the continuation of the trunk line. As you can see here, the two branches on the bottom start from the same position, so this creates a little bit of a design defect, but something we'll have to live with. If we look at other potential positions, we have here the main trunk line coming towards us, but in this case we have the big scar of a previous trunk chop very visible that I want to hide somehow. It works with both fronts, and we will decide in the future which front takes over. I bend here the wire a little bit to make sure that I don't lose the tension on the wire underneath to keep it without any slack. And now for the most important part. Traditionally, you would use keto to make muck, to build a retaining wall around the perimeter where you want to plant, and then use substrate that will be kept in position by that wall. Here I'm using strictly only sphagnum moss. I'm building a bed of sphagnum moss on which I will place all the substrate and will be held in place by the tree itself with the wire and the sphagnum moss. It's very important that it is long fiber sphagnum moss, so it creates a network of intertwined fibers that hold position. this point, the tree is fully attached and holding the sphagnum moss base, and I'm starting to fill with substrate all the voids that I can find with the same substrate mix. There is plenty of aeration here. There is no need for an aeration layer. For those that use it, I don't use an aeration layer, or also known as a drainage layer. Here there are not even holes on the pot because there is plenty of aeration. As you can see, I'm also not using keto for the walls. I'm using sphagnum moss, and if you think about it, a tree, when you make an air layer, is perfectly happy with the roots growing in 100% sphagnum moss. Here it will also grow perfectly with the sphagnum moss walls. I am embedding the long fibers into the root system, and I will also be adding more substrate in between, as you will see shortly. I will then use wire staples. As you can see, I'm creating one now here, and this will help maintain the root system in position and the sphagnum moss attached to it. Like that, I can mold and place the sphagnum moss exactly how I want into the system. The disadvantage of keto and muck in general is that, first of all, it's difficult to obtain. It requires more maintenance, so it doesn't dry out and crumbles as moss starts to become established. With sphagnum moss mixed with substrate in between and held in place with the staples, your tree has a lot more aeration than with the muck, and there is no danger of things falling apart. I'm using my chopstick to attach the edge of the sides of the wall to the bottom and tuck it all in underneath, and adding substrate wherever I need to really not leave any air gaps in between, and using the wire to hold everything in place. The next step is to wire the branches, particularly the continuation of the trunk line, to sustainable positions where they can grow in the direction that I want the trunk to develop while being photosynthetically efficient. Fortunately, I ran out of battery and could not show the end of this work, which consisted on finishing the wiring and applying moss. I decided to apply moss as a sheath of moss instead of top dressing, which could have been done also. If I had used top dressing, I would have to embed it within the sphagnum moss, but with the sheath of moss, I just staple them with the same sort of staples that I use for the sphagnum moss itself, and these are very thin layers of collected moss, so it works just the same. This is the tree 2 weeks after the initial work. The moss is starting to grow, and the tree is holding up on, the composition is holding up on watering, and as you can see, it's very stable and can be placed on a vertical position without any issues. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you get a new possibility to do slab and rock plantings without using muck or keto with much better aeration. And I'll see you on the next time. Until then, bye bye for now.